It was December 2nd, 1972. I lived in the middle of nowhere, Canada, with my mom and my dad and my two older brothers, and it was the dead of winter. It was in that context that my dad got up one morning and drove to work and never came home. He was in a terrible car accident and died on the road, leaving my mom and two brothers. And I found out later in life that not only did my dad die when I was about 3, but his dad died when he was 3. I have 4 kids. As you might imagine, I have been living under a perpetual question. How does a guy who didn't have a dad, whose dad didn't have a dad, how do you figure out how to be a dad when that's your life? Well, good news. My youngest is 18. So, woohoo, the legacy of death is complete. And something radical happened to me when I was about my youngest age. I had found my way to Australia. I, again, grew up in Canada, made my way to Australia. I was about 19 years old, and I was pretty far away from home. 17 time zones, payphones only, no cell phones, and I was lonely. And I also had a really disconnected life. I'd grown up in the church, but I had no real relationship with the Lord. Until one day when I picked up a phone book and looked up church. And a missionary pastor that I didn't know was so far away, but he drove 90 minutes to pick me up, take me to church, and be there for the church service. And it was at that church service where there was an altar call. He had given a sermon about the cost of discipleship, and was I willing to consider the whole of my life, not just kind of some mental assent, but the whole of my life and how I was living. And was I really interested in modeling my life after this person named Jesus? And it was as though the whole room had emptied. It was just me and the Lord. And I felt called into something profound. And it was the beginning of a life of redemption. It's as though God is systematically lining up all of the terrible things, all of the broken promises that I've broken, all of the choices, the things happened to me, and he's in this like relentless pursuit. First, a pursuit of me on the other side of the world, but in this relentless pursuit of naming and claiming each of those losses and turning them into gains, turning them into good in and through me in my life. And that has been the story of my life. I've gotten false credit from my kids for years for fathering them. Friends, I have been fathered by the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ every single day. Well, actually, since I was born, I just didn't know it. But that day when I was 19 and all those decades since, I can't overstate. I bear testimony to the truth that the Lord, the Father, as well as the Son, as well as the Spirit, is in my life in a way where he just won't let it go. He wants to make it all new. And he's not done yet.